still on duty with their franchise or clubs. I mean, you're not the only one who has to do this. Even other international coaches on the same boat. Do you think it's something World Rugby should be looked at in terms of restructuring the calendar moving forward?
Nathan, yeah, listen, I think if you go back even in 2018, when myself and Rassie just came back from Ireland, I mean, according to Regulation 9, you actually only get the players the Sunday before a test match. So we are actually in a very fortunate position to have 17 players here and having the ability to prepare with him. So I think from yeah, we are happy. I mean, in the past, like when we played in 2018, our first test match was against Wales in Washington, you know, before the England series, and we only got the players on that Sunday, and some of them only arrived on the Monday. The guys who flew, whose flights were a little bit later on the Sunday evening. So yeah, no, I think the preparation is awesome, and your question on in terms of how we're getting along, yeah, we almost have a full team available. So our focus currently is we do a little bit of team stuff as much as we can, and then we focus on fundamentals and mini unit stuff.
Jan de Koning.
Thank you, Zina. Jacques, obviously the season has changed for everybody. How different is it to start prepare for a international season coming off a full season of URC and Currie Cup than when you first came on the scene with Rassie and you know, you came off a Super Rugby season and stuff? So it's a very different environment at the moment.
Yeah, I think when we go to a full season, it probably will be. But if I can take you back to December, so obviously our players, we played end of year tour in November, and then we went into URC, and then Omicron came. So there was almost a shutdown again, and there wasn't any rugby played over December, and we only started, I think, it was around about the end of January, I think the 24th or maybe a week earlier. So it was almost like it was in the past, where there was a break for the players. The main thing that we will have to make sure is that there's development blocks for players, because obviously with us competing internationally in the Southern Hemisphere calendar and on franchise level in the Northern Hemisphere calendar, we just have to box smart in terms of creating a development block for our international players. But I mean, we currently, yeah, we've got those boxes ticked, and we've got plans for that. So yeah, we've got specific times within our calendar where we will where there will be an opportunity for us to put players into a development block where they can actually work on some of their strengths and weaknesses. Yeah.
Craig Ray.
Thanks, Ina. Hi, Jacques. Nice to see you again. Jacques, besides the obvious your objective of trying to win every test match you play, what are the other sort of growth areas you're looking at this year, especially with an eye to Rugby World Cup 2023?
Yeah, I think we've mentioned, I think if you look at it from a game point of view or rugby point of view, we always try and develop our game, you know, and transform our game in terms of in different levels. And like I said, when we did the review of 2021, there were certain things that were good, and then there's certain aspects, and for obvious reasons, I'm not going to name all of them, but there's certain aspects that we definitely have to improve. And so yeah, that's the one area. It's probably, can I say, the development of our Springbok rugby game on field. And then also I would say the other big thing that we would like to achieve is to create squad depth within our squad, you know, and squad depth can be getting youngsters in, but it can also be getting more experience into players, you know, getting them exposed to test matches and get some test match experience underneath them. So yeah, so it's getting some young blood in or some youth in, but also getting experience into your already experienced players. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. David?
Oh, hi, Jacques. here in Wales, not many people are giving Wales any hope heading to South Africa, who are big favourites for this series. How do you, within the squad, avoid complacency ahead of the 3-test series?
Yes, no, I think if you look at our history with Wales, just looking at history and facts of history will tell. Well, in my mind, I believe it's going to be a tightly contested series. I think last year at the end of year 2 was the first time that we actually pulled off a victory in Wales. I think since 2013, I'm not sure about the dates, but it was quite some time. I think it was something like 8 years. And then if you look at our last a couple of outings since I've been with the Boks in 2018, I mean, we lost in Washington. We lost the end of year tour. Then we got a victory in the World Cup semi-final, and it was a penalty that was the difference. And I think if you look at the last game last year in the end of year tour, I think we only got scoreboard pressure on Wales. Not even pressure. We just got control of the scoreboard, I think, in 72 minutes or 73 minutes. So no, I think Wales will be a tough one, especially for us. They know how we play. We've got a pretty good idea of how they play, and it's always an arm wrestle. And the interesting thing for me, just on Wales, when I did a proper analysis of them, of the Six Nations, everybody will remember the last test match against Italy, but the French, who actually won a Grand Slam, I think the French scored 3 points in the last 70 minutes of that test match. They were 10-3 or 10-0 up after 10 minutes, and they won it 13-9. So it was and that gives you the quality of Wales. They can push that French side. And I think the French only won that game. I think it lasted 82 minutes. And the same for England. When the Welsh play England at Twickenham, they were 17-0 down with about 20-30 minutes to go. And England won that game, I think, 20... yes, I think it's 5 points in it at the end of the day. I think 24-19 or something like that, And so no, I'm under no illusion that is going to be a proper series.
Sabu?
Afternoon, Jacques. My question is just around what do Marcel Coetzee and Warwick Gelant have to do to force their way into the wider recognition for the Springbok camps and this group? Is there anything in particular that they ought to be doing or they're not doing that will get them in recognition?
Yes, Sabu, I think we're not going to speculate on the squad. That's why we haven't announced the squad. They are currently playing with their franchises, and to speculate now on players and who's in and who's out, that's the whole reason why we delayed the announcement of the squad, so that they can focus solely on preparing for Leinster this weekend and for Ulster. So no, they must perform. Yeah. I'm not going to speculate on players who's not in the squad. And that's why I think if you look at the moment the Sharks fell out, we pulled the Sharks players in and we announced, listen, these are the guys, I think the 10 guys that joined us from the Sharks. And I think if you look at the guys who joined us, there's a good blend between guys who's experienced, a guy like Sia, Lukey, who's experienced and has been with us before. But there's also youngsters, Grant is a youngster. Tukes is a youngster. Apilele is a youngster. So I think if you look at the 10 players that we brought in, good experience from on the one side, but then also a good number of youth players that we're getting into the squad. And I think it would be the same going forward with the other teams when they fall out.
Ross?
How's it, Jacques? As you were saying about, this group that you've brought in for the training camp, they're not guaranteed a spot in the squad, for the Welsh series. you know, if, for instance, the Bulls and the Stormers end up making the final, you know, it's another week without those players, and, you know, you don't know how the tournaments in France and England are going. You might have an extended period without them. Would you guys look to possibly bring in a few more players into that training squad to try and, you know, bolster it up a bit, make it a bit more competitive, maybe bring some of the Lions players in who, you know, none of them have been brought in, stuff like that? Or is it this pretty much the set group, and only when the teams drop out of their various competitions do you bring them in?
Now it will only be when teams drop out that we will bring them in, and the big thing. Remember, normally with Regulation 9, you only get the players a week, the Sunday before Test match. That's how it's always been like that. It's never changed, and it's still like that. We are lucky when a team fall out and it's a South African group and there's not a competition for them to participate in, that we can pull them closer and we can start working with them. So it's actually for us, can I say, it's we're fortunate to get them a little bit earlier. But in the past, and per normal, you normally get them the Sunday before Test match. And nothing has changed there. It's always been like that.
Danele?
Good afternoon, Jacques. Question from my side is that if you could put it into words, what kind of intensity that the Welsh team brings whenever they're playing against the Boks in terms of on the field, the on-field intensity, what kind of intensity do they bring as compared to maybe in England or Scotland or even in Italy, for instance?
Yes, no, I don't think I can, as a South African coach, compare overseas teams. But what I can tell you about Wales is that they always bring a physical edge. Their set pieces are always well coached, and also the defense of set pieces are well coached. And then they're tactically smart. When they played us, they had a good kicking game. I'm talking at the end of year tour. They pinned us down in a half. So there's certain things that you would that you have to focus on, and it's always a scrappy affair against the Welsh. It's always an arm wrestle. I think in the last, since I've came back and since 2018, myself and Russia, I mean, I think the average score between we've got well beaten in 2018 on the end of year tour, where I think there was a 10-point margin between the two sides. But all the other games, it's 2 points, 3 points. So that's what they will bring. They will bring physicality. They will bring pride. They are willing to take it to the gutters if they have to. They can open it up if they want to. So no, it will. That's the intensity they will bring. They will bring a well-coached side who's got now 4 weeks of preparation time with their coaches. So I think they will be well prepared, and they would have made their plans for us. With them not making their club sides, not making the playoffs of the URC, so they already in camp and preparing for us. So I think they will be well prepared in terms of what they will bring to us, and then it's always a tightly contested arm wrestle.
Guys, we've got 5 minutes left and we need to get some Afrikaans in. So Jan, I'm hoping your question is Afrikaans. So if you can fire away, and so we can just get some Afrikaans in as well, please.
Ek sal hom met graagte in Afrikaans vra, Zina. Jacques, dis 'n oorkoepelende vraag. Dit gaan nie ek weet nie jy praat oor spesifieke spelers nie, maar het jy 'n redelike idee in jou gedagte wat jou span gaan lyk vir die eerste toets teen Wallis? En gaan dit baie verskil sonder om iets weg te gee? Gaan ons 'n paar verrassings sien of het jy 'n redelike idee van waar jy staan met jou groep?
Nee, ons het 'n redelike idee hoe die squad gaan lyk. 'n Baie goeie idee. Ek dink daar gaan tussen so rondom 42 spelers in ons squad wees as almal uitval. So maar dan sal ons moet sit en kyk beserings, wanneer het mense by ons aangekom, wie het ons baie kontaktyd gehad in terme van 'n speler, hoe so sê het ons 2 weke, 3 weke coaching tyd met 'n speler gehad of net miskien 1 week. So daar's baie goed wat dan sal beïnvloed hoe die span sal lyk wat ons kies teen Wallis. So ek dink nie die toetsspan in my kop is al daar nie, want ons nog baie beserings en afhangende van hoeveel tyd ons het om met persone te werk, maar die squad, ja, daar sal so 42 spelers in die squad wees.
Guys, are there any more Afrikaans questions, or should I ask an Afrikaans question just so that we could get the Afrikaans in? Because I don't see Percy on this call.
Zina, ek sal een in Afrikaans vra asseblief.
Reg so?
Jacques, hallo, dankie vir jou tyd. Net 'n vinnig een van my, het jy al of die groep al gedink, beplanning gedoen rondom Elton en sy hofsaak wat nog moet voorkom?
Ja, oor die Elton ding, die groot, ja, Elton is hy by ons in kamp gewees, toe die alleged allegations gebeur het nie. Soos wat ons informasie kry, sal ons dit hanteer. Maar op die stadium, volgens my wete, is Elton nog nie skuldig bevind aan enigiets nie, jy weet, so, en ons hanteer dit so. So, ja, dis maar, ons sal dit so hanteer.
And guys, since we've got 2 minutes left, I'm just going to pop another question to Jacques in Afrikaans. Jacques, net in die algemeen, kan jy net vir ons vertel van die kamp so ver? As jy bly met hoe dinge so ver geloop het en wat is die planne vir die volgende paar weke voor die Wallis-toetse?
Ja, yes, ek dink die kamp gaan goed op die stadium. Ons het lekker tyd om met die spelers te werk. Ons het amper 'n vol span. Daar's so 2 posisies waar ons nie altyd iemand het nie, maar die ouens val maar in. Die 9's val in as flanke en flanke val in as vleuels en hulle maak dit werk en is lekker om weer die Japaneese spelers te sien. Jy weet, ons het hulle laas gesien op die einde van die jaar toe. So ja, die gemoedere of daar's baie joy in die groep op die stadium en die ouens werk hard. En ons het lekker tyd omdat dit so klein groepie is van 17 spelers, is daar lekker tyd vir ons om aan individuele vaardighede te werk, wat jy nie noodwendig altyd tyd kry voor as dit 'n groot groep van 40 is.
Cool, guys, thank you so much. We can take one more question if there is Afrikaans, and then we need to wrap it up.
Sorry, Zina, can we have the Elton Jantjies question in English, please?
Okay,
English,
and then
please,
we'll wrap it
please.
up with that. So Sabu, just fire away the question again.
Yeah, I think the question was asked just regarding Elton Jantjies and the allegations facing him and him being in the camp. That's what I could pick up from Jan.
Yeah, so on Elton, I mean, the alleged allegations that happened was when Elton wasn't in camp. He wasn't in the Springbok camp at that stage. So we will treat it as more information about the alleged incident will come to light, and we just see it as, listen, he hasn't been found guilty of anything. Under my knowledge, and we treat it like that. You guilty, or you must be proven guilty of something. And but other than that, we are working with him on the rugby stuff here within the camp.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining our press conference. We'll be sending out the sound shortly. And then for the photographers, there will be an open training session for 15 minutes a little later. So we may see some of you there. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Dankie.
Dankie, Jacques.